My daughter rolled her eyes the second I walked into that Fulton County courtroom. The kind of disrespect that says you ain't nothing right there in front of God and everybody. But then Judge Marianne Thompson stopped cold. She looked up at me and I watched recognition hit her face. "Wait now," she said slowly. "Lorraine Washington? You're the defendant." She looked at the file again. "You were senior prosecutor here for 15 years. First black woman to hold that position." Her voice got quiet. "These allegations are against you." If you like real, shocking stories, follow the channel so you don't miss the next ones. My 3 children sat on the other side with their white lawyer in his expensive suit, Brandon looking like his daddy, Sienna with her silk press and Cartier bracelet, Devin staring at his phone, couldn't even look at me. Lord, these children done lost their minds. Judge Thompson cleared her throat. "Mrs. Washington and I have professional history. She tried cases before me for over a decade. Something passed between us. 2 black women who'd climbed the same mountain. Do you object to my presiding?" I looked at my babies. 27, 25, 22. The children I'd sacrificed everything for. "No objection, Your Honor," I said, keeping my voice level, old courtroom habits. "I trust justice will be served. That's what I tried to teach my children." Sienna flinched. "Let me take you back 6 months. October, Sunday. I was making Marcus's pot roast, though he'd been dead 3 months. Habit, hope, denial. The doorbell rang. All 3 of my children stood there together. First time since the funeral. "Mama, we need to talk," Brandon said, using that voice for crazy folks and sick dogs. They had rehearsed this. Brandon up front, Sienna clutching her purse, Devin hanging back uncomfortable. We sat in the living room where I'd nursed them all, where Marcus proposed 32 years ago, with Al Green playing. "Mama," Sienna started, "we're worried. This house is so big, and Daddy's business affairs. That's a lot for one person." "I managed them while your father was alive. Managed the books for Washington Architecture 15 years. Managed everything." "We know," Brandon cut in smooth, "but now, with Daddy gone, we think it makes sense to talk about distribution. Keep it in the family." There it was. Your father's will was clear. Everything to me. When the Lord calls me home, it's divided between you 3. "But that's not fair, Mama," Sienna whined. "All my sorrows, their parents helped with down payments. Jessica's mama bought her a house in Brookhaven." I looked at her. 25, making 75,000, but spending like 200. "We paid for Lovett School, 12 years, 30,000 a year by the end. Paid for Spelman, every penny. Your first car, insurance until you were 25, 15,000 for your wedding." "That's what parents are supposed to do. That's not inheritance." "Inheritance." The word came out sharp. "Baby, I'm 55. I'm not dead." "We know, Mama." "Do you?" I stood up shaking. "Your father died 6 months ago. I buried the love of my life, and y'all sitting here asking me to divvy up his estate like I'm already in the ground next to him." Silence. I think you need to leave my house.
Brandon's jaw was tight at the door. Daddy would have wanted us taken care of. He told me that. Your daddy spent 30 years taking care of y'all. Where were you? 2 weeks later, a man delivered papers. Brandon Washington, Sienna Washington Holmes, and Devin Washington versus Lorraine Mitchell Washington, petition to contest last will and testament. My own children were suing me. I called Lawrence Jameson, Marcus's attorney. Can they win? No. Marcus was examined 2 weeks before updating the will, sharp as ever. But they can make it ugly. I want to fight it, I said. I spent 15 years prosecuting people who thought they could lie and get away with it. You think I'm scared of my own children? No, ma'am. Let's show them what you're made of. 2 months to prepare. Brandon didn't call once. Sienna sent passive-aggressive texts. Devin went silent. I found my journal from 1993. Last day at Emory Law, 8 months pregnant with Brandon. Professor Chin said I was one of the most brilliant students she'd taught. Said I had a future in civil rights law like Thurgood Marshall, like Constance Baker Motley. Said come back after the baby. I will, I promised. 2 years from now, I'll have my JD. I never went back. Brandon had colic. Marcus's firm took off and he needed me managing books, playing hostess, being the respectable wife. Then Sienna came, then Devin. I stopped being Lorraine Mitchell, future civil rights attorney, became Mrs. Marcus Washington. My mama cleaned houses for lawyers. I was supposed to be different. I was, just not how I planned. Christmas came, first without Marcus. I spent it alone. My children didn't even call. Evelyn showed up with sweet potato pie and wine. Girl, this is beyond. They think they deserve it. Deserve what? Evelyn grabbed my hands. When my boys tried this after Robert died, I thought it killed me. But you know what I learned? Good parents sometimes raise selfish children because we give them everything. They never see us struggle. They think love is infinite and free. She squeezed my hands. You spent 30 years keeping that fire burning. Now it's out. They're cold, and they're mad at you. Baby, that is not your problem. I wanted to believe her. January 8th, 2025. I walked into that courtroom in the same black suit from Marcus's funeral. Couldn't buy a new one. Couldn't make myself buy the outfit to fight my own children. Palmer stood up theatrical. Your Honor, my clients loved their father. They loved their mother. But love does not excuse manipulation. The evidence will show Marcus Washington in his final months was systematically isolated from his children. Objection. Lawrence stood slow. Mr. Washington's medical records show excellent health until his sudden cardiac event. Stick to facts you can prove, Mr. Palmer, Judge Thompson said. Palmer showed a photo. Marcus, Brandon, and Sienna at Brandon's Morehouse graduation, all smiling. This is the family Marcus Washington built, a family that, where is Mrs. Washington in that photograph? Lawrence interrupted. Presumably she was taking it. Actually, Lawrence pulled out papers. The professional photographer's invoice shows Mrs. Washington was asked to step aside so the photo could be just Dad and the kids. I remembered that day, Marcus saying, baby, just for this shot, mother-son thing. And I'd smiled and stepped back. I'd stepped back from a lot of moments. Judge Thompson's eyes met mine, the understanding of women who'd spent our lives being told to step aside. Palmer painted me as manipulative, greedy.
Lawrence spoke quiet when he stood, the kind that makes people lean in. For 32 years, Lorraine Washington sacrificed everything. She left law school at the top of her class. She set aside her dreams. She was the foundation Marcus Washington built his empire on. He showed my photo at 23, pregnant at Emory Law. This is Lorraine Mitchell, her last day of law school,
top 10%. Her professor said she had a future in civil rights law. She was going to come back. His voice got soft. She never did, because there was always something more important. He showed more photos, me at every graduation, every recital, every moment that mattered. 6 months after burying her husband, her children decided that wasn't enough. Your Honor, this case isn't about a will. It's about gratitude. Mr. Palmer, call your first witness. Brandon Washington. My firstborn walked to the stand without looking at me once, put his hand on the Bible I'd read to him as a child. He testified smooth, said Marcus had concerns, said I was hovering, keeping them away. I sat still as stone, but inside I screamed, because he was dying and you didn't notice, because I held his hand when the doctor said his heart was weak, because I made sure you didn't see your father scared. Lawrence stood for cross. You said you and your father talked all the time. Phone records showed 26 calls in 12 months. That's twice a month. Were you mistaken or lying? Brandon's face went tight. You said your mother wouldn't let you visit. Last visit was March 12th. Your father died October 3rd, 7 months. And you stayed 45 minutes for your mother's birthday, left before the cake she'd spent all day making. Silence. Your father was worried your mother couldn't handle business. Are you aware she has an MBA from Fulton County, that she was the first Black woman senior prosecutor in Fulton County? Brandon's face went blank. He didn't know. No, sir. No further questions. In the hallway during break, I nearly walked into Devin. Devin, I hold up my hand. If you have something to say it under oath. Otherwise, I can't hear it. I walked past him, and for the first time, I felt clarity. They'd forgotten who I was, forgotten who raised them, but they were about to remember. Court resumed at 2, and the temperature in that room had shifted. Folks weren't just watching a will fight anymore. They were watching a family pull its own seams loose. The plaintiff's call, Sienna Washington Holmes, Palmer announced. My middle girl stood smoothing that cream Tory Burch I'd bought her last birthday. She walked to the stand like Sunday Isle, chin high, that same Bible I'd pressed into her hands at Spelman graduation. Palmer went gentle, asked about her father. Sienna's voice got soft enough to bruise. She said, Daddy was my hero. She dabbed a tissue she'd brought with her. I wanted to be just like him, successful, respected, build something that mattered. And your relationship with your mother. I love my mother. She looked straight at me. But after Daddy died, she changed. Distant, suspicious, talked like we were strangers trying to take from her.
That was a lie, and she knew it. In your father's last months, did you try to visit? I tried, but Mama always had a reason. He's resting, not feeling well. Call first. It felt like a wall around him. I thought of those months. Marcus asking, where's Sienna? Me calling, no answer. My text coming back, sorry Mama, swamped. And that day, she slid into the hospital 2 hours after he died, hair set, makeup neat, posting family tragedy before she hugged me. Lawrence rose for cross, face quiet. Mrs. Holmes, your father kept a meticulous calendar. In the last 6 months of his life, how many times did you visit your parents' home? I don't know. Once, March 12th, 2024, your mother's birthday, 45 minutes. He lifted a binder. Calendar is our Exhibit 14. Your parents' security system logs each entry. I can display them if needed. Silence. You said your father wanted you to be successful like him. Are you aware your mother has an MBA? Yes, but are you aware she managed Washington Architecture's operations, payroll, receivables, client billing, tax prep for 15 years? He held up folders. Quarterlies and audits, 1998 to 2013, signed by Mrs. Washington. He let the paper breathe. She did all that while raising you and your brothers. Dance class, homework, Spellman applications. When's the last time you told her thank you? That's not fair. You're right, he said softly. It isn't. No further questions. Judge Thompson tapped her pen. 15-minute recess. In the bathroom, I splashed water on my face. Mother Jenkins from church stood at the sink, eyes wet. Baby girl, she said, folding me in. We been praying. The whole congregation. Thank you, Mother. Those children don't know what they're playing with, she whispered, warm palms on my cheeks. But the Lord sees. Back in the courtroom, Lawrence said, the defense calls Joyce Washington. Marcus's sister marched like it was a ward shift and she had the chart. 70, retired nurse, back straight as truth. Describe the family dynamic. She said, Marcus loved those kids and spoiled them soft. If they wanted it, he paid it. And Lorraine, she's the glue. Christmas 2023. Lorraine cooked 2 days, house shining. Marcus was already tiring. We didn't know why yet. Those children came 3 hours late. Brandon stayed 20 minutes, said he had somewhere to be. Sienna on her phone. Devin tried, but you could see he didn't want to be there. What did Mrs. Washington do? She smiled, packed them plates, told them she loved them. After they left, I found her crying into the dishwater. Palmer stood. Objection. Hearsay. Prejudicial. Your Honor, Lawrence said, calm as a metronome, this rebuts isolation and shows plaintiff's own absence. Overruled, the judge said. Limited purpose.
Aunt Joyce leaned forward. 2 weeks before Marcus passed, he called me. Said he'd changed his will. Said Lorraine deserved everything for everything she gave. Said the kids were grown and fine. He told me, Joyce, if they contested, you tell them I was clear and I meant it. Hearsay, Palmer said again. State of mind exception, testamentary intent, Lawrence replied. Admitted for intent, Judge Thompson ruled. No further questions, Lawrence said. Palmer tried her on cross. Aunt Joyce answered with dates and paper produced in discovery, wire confirmations and memos you can staple to the truth. $50,000 to Brandon in 2022 for that crypto mess. $30,000 extra for Sienna's wedding. $25,000 to Devin for grad school he didn't finish. She looked at my children. And y'all up here acting like you got nothing? Next came Dr. Patricia Reynolds, white coat calm. Doctor, Lawrence said, you examined Mr. Washington on September 15, 2024, 2 weeks before his estate update. Your assessment? Cognitively intact, fully oriented. He told me he planned to update documents and asked me to record his capacity. She folded her hands. The family has waived privacy by putting capacity at issue. Palmer tried her. She did not move. Medicine don't lie when the chart is clean. Then Lawrence did the thing I wasn't expecting. Your Honor, defense moves to admit a set of text messages obtained in discovery. Subscriber number ending 3132, registered to Brandon, Washington. We've laid the foundation with carrier certification and a forensic report. Palmer was on his feet. Objection! Foundation and prejudice. Foundation established, Lawrence said, offering the report to the clerk. Relevance goes to motive and credibility. We request a limiting instruction. Judge Thompson scanned, then nodded. Admitted for motive and credibility only. She turned to the gallery, and we will maintain order. The projector hummed to life. Blue light washed the far wall, and there they were, my children's words, big as day. The first was Brandon to Sienna, November 12th, 8:41 p.m. Lawyer says if we move fast, we can contest before she spends anything.
Another line slid up, Sienna asking, careful, like a shopper at a glass counter, how much are we talking? Brandon answered neat as an invoice, about $4.5 million total, split 3 ways. Then came the one that cut, what about Mama? And Brandon's answer fell like a gavel inside my chest. She keeps the house. She'll be fine. Dad wanted us taken care of.
Sienna's next words tiptoed. Feels weird. Brandon closed it off with 6 that told the truth of him. It's business. Don't be emotional. You could hear my heartbeat in that quiet. Don't be emotional about your mother, the woman who carried you into this world. Lawrence wasn't finished. Group chat, he said. Same foundation. New thread. Brandon pressing. Devin, you in or out? Need to know. My baby hesitating. Feels wrong. Sienna stepping in like a chorus. It's our inheritance. Daddy would want it for us. And Brandon again, relentless and tidy. Mama will be fine. House, pension, Social Security. We need this now. I'm in debt. Sienna needs a house. You need tuition. It's our chance. Devin's last message landed small as a dropped spoon. Okay, I'm in. I looked at my youngest. He stared at his shoes. One more thread, Lawrence said softly, from Brandon's phone. Contact Amber, his wife. Same foundation, same limiting instruction. Her words crawled across the wall like something sour under the sink. We need this money. I'm not living in this apartment forever. My sister just bought in Brookhaven. If your mom doesn't die soon, we'll be stuck working like poor people. Brandon's answer. That's why we're filing. Amber, again. Good. You're the firstborn. It should be yours. The room gasped before the gavel could catch it. Judge Thompson struck wood twice. Order. 30-minute recess. I walked the hallway on shaking legs. Devin waited there, crying. Mama, I'm sorry. Brandon said it was just business, that you'd understand, that we weren't trying to hurt you. Baby, I said, touching his face, you're 22. You made a choice. Now you carry it. I want to withdraw. I want to testify for you. I searched those eyes, the same child who used to crawl in my bed during thunderstorms. Then do it. But your brother and sister may not forgive you. I already lost what mattered, your respect. When we reconvened, Palmer's shine had dulled. Your Honor, Mr. Devin Washington moves to withdraw as plaintiff. Judge Thompson faced him. Have you consulted with counsel? You understand this is with prejudice as to this action. Yes, ma'am. Granted. Devin crossed the aisle, sat behind me, and laid his hand on my shoulder. A warmth went through my bones I hadn't felt in months. Palmer paraded character witnesses, Marcus's acquaintances who barely knew me, talking devotion and family portraits. Lawrence walked them through calendars, RSVPs, no-shows. Facts are stubborn when they sit in black ink. Closing arguments tomorrow at 9, Judge Thompson said, gavel soft. We stand adjourned. Brandon and Sienna slipped out a side door without a look back. Devin walked with me. In the lot, he broke all the way. I was selfish. Let them convince me. Hush, I told him, pulling him in. You're making it right. That matters. Brandon will hate me. Sienna too. Maybe, I said, but you'll face your mirror clean. That's worth more than any check. Evelyn waited by my car, arms folded tight. Those messages, she said, clicking her tongue, work like poor people? She showed me who he married. And Devin showed me who he is. 1 out of 3 ain't bad. Evelyn's smile was small and certain. I drove home alone to this Buckhead house that echoed when I set my keys down. Marcus's Bible lay open on the nightstand where I'd left it, Psalm 27 sitting like a porch light. Whom shall I fear? My phone buzzed, unknown number. Brandon's wife. Mrs. Washington, this is Amber. Drop this. You're tearing the family apart. You're being selfish. That money belongs to all of Marcus's family, not just you. If you loved your children, you'd do the right thing. I looked at it a long time. Then I blocked the number. 32 years doing the right thing, had led me to my own kitchen being called selfish by folks who never laid down a single dream. Tomorrow would be closings, one way or another, an ending.
I made tea, sat at the kitchen table, opened my laptop, and typed what I'd been scared to type for 6 months. Emory Law School, continuing education, mature students. The page loaded. Applications open, rolling. My hand shook on the mouse. Maybe it wasn't too late. Maybe finding myself cost me some of what I thought I couldn't live without. The thought should have hurt. Instead, it felt like air in lungs that hadn't filled in 30 years. I didn't sleep that night. Just sat in Marcus's office, surrounded by 32 years of our life together. Photos everywhere. Our wedding at Ebenezer Baptist, both of us so young. The children at every milestone, but none of me alone. No photo of the girl I was before I became everybody's something. I'd erased myself so completely that even I forgot she existed. My phone lit up. 3:47 a.m. Devin texting. Mama, you awake? Can't sleep. Brandon won't answer. Sienna blocked me. But I know I did right. Thank you for teaching me that. Love you. Love you too, baby. Get some rest. At 8:30 a.m., I walked into that courthouse as a party for the last time. The hallway was packed. This case had become news. Black folks love courtroom drama, and this had everything. Mother Jenkins was there with half the church. Aunt Joyce in her Sunday best wearing a look that could strip paint. Evelyn squeezed my hand. Brandon and Sienna sat on their side, an empty chair where Devin used to be. Neither looked at me. Sienna's eyes were red. Brandon's face was stone. Judge Thompson entered. Closing arguments. Mr. Palmer? Palmer stood looking tired. The fight had left him after those text messages. Your Honor, certain communications may have appeared insensitive, but this case is about fairness, about honoring Marcus Washington's true intentions, not a will written in grief. He talked for 20 minutes, said I'd manipulated Marcus when he was vulnerable. His heart wasn't in it anymore. Then Lawrence stood, didn't pace, just spoke truth. Your Honor, Marcus Washington built an empire, but not alone. For 32 years, Lorraine Washington sacrificed everything so her family could succeed. He pulled out my 1992 acceptance letter to Emory Law. Full scholarship, top 10%. She was going to be a civil rights attorney. Instead, she became a mother at 23. She went back years later, finished her JD at night school while raising 3 children, then spent 15 years as a prosecutor in this county, all while managing her husband's business for the years before that. He showed financial records. 1998 to 2008, she managed Washington Architecture. After the children were older, she finally pursued law, passed the bar at 38, became the first Black woman senior prosecutor in Fulton County, and through it all, she held her family together. Lawrence looked at Brandon and Sienna. The plaintiffs claim they are honoring their father, but their father's final act was honoring his wife. This will isn't manipulation, it's gratitude. He pulled out an envelope. Yesterday, Mrs. Washington found this in her husband's locked dresser drawer. A letter dated September 20th, 2024, 2 weeks before he updated his will. We've authenticated the handwriting through Mrs. Joyce Washington, who recognized her brother's hand immediately. My breath caught. My dearest Lorraine, if you're reading this, I'm gone. Everything I built on your back. Every success you made possible. You gave up your dreams for mine, your career for our children, yourself for all of us. This will isn't charity. It's payment of a debt I can never repay. The kids will be fine. They're adults with degrees and opportunities we gave them.
But you spent 32 years taking care of everyone else. Now it's your turn. Let them be mad, but don't feel guilty for taking what you earned. I love you. I'm sorry I never said enough that you were everything. All my love, Marcus. Crying filled the courtroom. Mother Jenkins sobbed. Aunt Joyce wiped her eyes. Even the court reporter teared up. I couldn't breathe. Marcus had known. He tried to protect me from the grave. The defense rests, Lawrence said, voice thick. Judge Thompson removed her glasses, cleaned them. I'm prepared to rule. Mr. Palmer, does your client wish to withdraw? Palmer whispered urgently to Brandon and Sienna. I saw the calculation in Brandon's face. Pride. Anger. Sienna looked at me once, regret flickering, but Brandon shook his head. Your Honor, we proceed. Judge Thompson nodded. I've presided over probate for 17 years. This case is clear-cut. She looked at my children. Marcus Washington updated his will in perfect health. His physician documented his mental capacity. His attorney documented his reasoning. His letter demonstrates beyond doubt his true wishes. She gestured to the projected messages. The plaintiff's texts reveal not children concerned for their mother, but adults concerned about their finances. Brandon flushed. The court finds no undue influence, no incapacity, no fraud. The will stands. She paused. Furthermore, I'm awarding attorney's fees to the defendant. This case was brought with insufficient merit and motivations that border on familial exploitation. She looked at me. Mrs. Washington, you spent 15 years in these courtrooms. I'm glad to provide you justice today. Bang. Case dismissed. The courtroom erupted in murmurs. Judge Thompson's gavel came down twice. Order. Outside, people hugged and cried. I just sat there, numb. I'd won, but it felt like losing. Brandon and Sienna stood and left without a word. Palmer followed, briefcase in hand. Devin hugged me tight. Mama, I'm so sorry. Hush, you made it right. But I watched my other two children disappear. Lawrence shook my hand. Congratulations, you earned this. Thank you, Lawrence, for everything. Outside, reporters waited. Mrs. Washington, how do you feel? Any comment for your children? Evelyn blocked them. No comment. Let her breathe. In the parking lot, I saw them. Brandon, Sienna, Palmer by a black Mercedes, arguing, probably about his bill. They looked up, saw me. We stared across that space. All the words stuck. I love you. I forgive you. Come home. But Brandon's face was hard. He got in, started the engine. Sienna climbed in. They drove away without looking back. Think they'll come around? Devin asked. I don't know, baby. That's their choice now. What are you going to do? I thought about Marcus's letter, about the girl at Emory, about the woman I'd become in everyone else's shadow. I'm going to live, really live. That night, I sat with wine and my laptop, opened Emory Law's website, looked at continuing education programs. My phone rang, unknown number. Mrs. Washington, this is Dean Patricia Marshall from Emory Law. Your former professor, Dr. Chen, reached out. She mentioned you were one of her most promising students. My heart stopped. She gave me your contact information. I hope that's all right. We have a program for experienced attorneys seeking to transition into teaching or policy work. Given your prosecutorial background and your original academic record, I'd love to discuss opportunities. Would you be interested in meeting? I looked around my kitchen, at the life that had fallen apart, at the space where something new could grow. Yes, I would. Excellent. Monday at 10 a.m.? Perfect. I hung up and sat in silence. Then I laughed. A real laugh. Because maybe it was my turn. My phone buzzed. Sienna. Mama, I know you don't want to hear from me. Brandon's mad I'm even texting. But when they read Daddy's letter, something broke in me. I realized what we did, what I did. I don't expect forgiveness, but I'm sorry. So sorry. I stared at that message, then typed, I love you, baby. Always will. But sorry isn't enough right now. You hurt me. Broke something that needs time to heal. If you want to make this right, you'll have to show me, not tell me. And I don't know how long that takes. Her response came fast. I understand. I'll wait, however long. I set the phone down, looked at Marcus's Bible, still open to Psalm 27. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? I wasn't afraid anymore. Not of being alone, not of losing my children, not of starting over at 55. I was free. And freedom, I was learning, was worth everything. 3 years later, I'm standing in a classroom at Emory Law School, but not as a student this time, as a professor. Can anyone tell me, I say to 30 eager second-year students, what makes a will contestable under Georgia law? Hands shoot up. I call on a young black woman in the front row. She reminds me of who I was at 23. Undue influence, lack of testamentary capacity, fraud or improper execution, she recites. Correct. Now let me tell you about a case I lived through. I still teach my story, not for sympathy, for education. These students need to understand that family law isn't abstract. It's mothers and daughters in courtrooms. It's inheritance and betrayal and love twisted into litigation. After class, I pack my briefcase, the same one Marcus bought me when I passed the bar at 38. My phone buzzes. A text from Devin lights up the screen. Mama, you still coming to dinner Sunday? Keisha's making your pot roast recipe. Says hers is better than yours now. Laughing emoji. I can't help but smile. Devin married Keisha 2 years ago. A good woman, a therapist, someone who understands broken things and how to heal them. They have a baby girl now, named her Helen, after my mother. I tap back a reply. Tell my grandbaby I'll be there, and her mama's pot roast better be good, or I'm taking back my recipe. I drive home to Buckhead. Still in the same house, but it feels different now. Lighter. I'd cleared out so much. Donated Marcus's clothes, repainted the office, turned the formal dining room into a library. Made space for myself. In the kitchen, I find a package on the counter. My housekeeper, Mrs. Davies, must have brought it in. I open it. A book. Brand new. Second Acts. Women who rebuilt their lives after 50. There's a card inside. Sienna's handwriting. Mama, saw this and thought of you. I know you don't need a book to tell you how strong you are. You showed me. I'm proud of you. Love. Sienna. I sit down with that card, tears in my eyes. It's been 3 years of slow healing with Sienna. Not dramatic reconciliation, just small steps. A text here, a coffee date there, her showing up to my first day teaching, sitting in the back of the auditorium crying quiet tears of pride. Last Christmas, she came to dinner. Just her. Jerome had to work. We cooked together, and somewhere between the sweet potatoes and the mac and cheese, she broke down. Mama, I was so jealous of you. You and Daddy had something I never saw in my friends' Karen's. Real partnership. And when he died, I think I blamed you for still having that love when mine with Jerome was already falling apart. Baby. No, let me finish. She'd wiped her eyes. I wanted money because I thought it would fix my life. But my life was broken because I was broken. I'm in therapy now, real therapy, and I'm learning that what I really wanted was to matter to you, the way you mattered to Daddy. I've always mattered to you. I know that now, but I didn't then. I was so busy comparing myself to your sacrifices that I never saw you were sacrificing yourself away. She looked at me. I'm glad you stopped. I'm glad you chose you. We hugged for a long time that night. Jerome and she separated 6 months later. He'd been having an affair. Turned out that Cartier bracelet wasn't from him at all. She moved into a smaller place in Grant Park, started over. And slowly, carefully, we rebuilt something, not what we had before, something more honest. But Brandon's a different story. I set Sienna's card on the counter and checked my other messages. Nothing from him. There never is. I know through Devin that he's still in Atlanta. The crypto debts caught up with him, filed bankruptcy last year. Amber left him, took half of nothing. He's living in a 1-bedroom in Brookhaven, working for someone else's firm now. Pride is expensive.
Devin says he asks about me sometimes. Never directly, just how's Mama doing? In that casual way that means he's thinking about it but can't bring himself to act. I don't chase him anymore. I did for the first year. Sent texts on his birthday, on Father's Day, after his daughter was born, on Christmas. He never responded. Evelyn told me, baby, you can't love someone into being ready. He'll come around or he won't. Either way, you've got to live your life. She was right. Sunday comes. I drive to Devin and Keisha's place in Decatur, a modest 3-bedroom they bought with money they earned, not inherited. I'm proud of that. Keisha opens the door with baby Helen on her hip. Hey, Ma Washington, come in, come in. Devin's in the backyard burning the chicken as usual. I laugh, take my grandbaby, breathe in that sweet baby smell. Hey, my angel, you getting big. Inside, the table is set. Sunday dinner, like we used to have, but different. Chosen, not obligated. Sienna's already there helping with sides. She hugs me tight. Hey, Mama. Hey, baby. We eat, we laugh. Devin tells terrible jokes. Keisha shares therapy insights without naming clients. Sienna talks about her new job, nonprofit work, helping women leaving abusive relationships. It's not what I expected to do with my marketing degree, she says, but it feels right. Like I'm finally doing something that matters. I'm proud of you, I tell her. Her eyes get wet. Thank you, Mama. That means everything. After dinner, I'm washing dishes when Devin comes up beside me. Mama, I need to tell you something. I look at him. My baby. 25 now, a husband, a father, so grown. Brandon called me last week. My hands still in the soapy water. He didn't ask about you directly, but he said he's been going to therapy, that his therapist told him he needs to make amends, that he's been carrying shame so heavy he can't breathe. What did you tell him? I told him the truth, that you're happy, that you're teaching at Emory, that you're living the life you were always supposed to live, and that if he wants to be part of it, he needs to be the one to reach out. Not me, not Sienna, him. I dry my hand slowly. You think he will? I don't know, Mama. I hope so. But even if he doesn't, you're okay, right? I look around that kitchen, at Sienna laughing with Keisha, at baby Helen sleeping in her carrier, at the life I've built from the ashes of what I lost. Yeah, baby, I'm more than okay. I'm free. He hugs me. That's all I needed to hear. That night, driving home, I think about Brandon.
about the little boy who used to hold my hand crossing the street, about the man who looked at me with such anger in that courtroom, about whether I'd forgive him if he came back.
I would. Of course I would. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean no consequences. It means I won't carry his shame for him anymore. If he comes back, it'll be different. Boundaries, honesty, real relationship, not performance. And if he doesn't, I'll grieve it, but I'll survive it. I pull into my driveway. Before I get out, my phone buzzes. Unknown number. My heart jumps. I stare at it for a long moment before opening. Mama, it's Brandon. I know I don't deserve a response. I know I hurt you in ways I can't take back. But I need you to know I've been working on myself, in therapy, facing what I did. I'm not asking for forgiveness right now. I know that takes time. But I'm asking if maybe someday we could talk, really talk. I miss you. I miss who I was before I let greed and pride destroy us. I miss my mother. If you're willing, I'll wait, however long it takes. I love you. I sit in the dark car reading those words over and over. Part of me wants to call him right now, wants to hear his voice, wants to fix it immediately. But I've learned something in these 3 years. Fast healing isn't real healing. So I type back. Brandon, I love you. I always have, even when you broke my heart. I'm glad you're working on yourself. That's the hardest work there is. I'm willing to talk, but not yet. I need to see that you're serious, that this isn't just words. Keep going to therapy, keep doing the work. In 6 months, we can meet for coffee. Just coffee. We'll start there. That's the boundary I need. Can you respect that? I wait, holding my breath. His response comes. Yes, I can respect that. Thank you for not giving up on me. I'll do the work. I promise. Good. I'll see you in 6 months. I put the phone down and sit in the quiet. 6 months. It's not dramatic. It's not a movie ending, but it's real. And maybe, just maybe, it's enough. Inside, I make tea, open my laptop. I'm writing a book, a memoir about mothers and sacrifice and finding yourself after you've been lost. My editor wants it by December, says it'll help other women who've spent their lives being useful instead of whole. I write until midnight, then close the laptop and walk to Marcus's picture on the mantle. I did it, baby. I became who I was supposed to be. Took me 35 years longer than planned, but I did it. I swear I feel him smile. In bed, I open the Bible to Psalm 27 one more time. The pages are worn from 3 years of reading. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? I'm not afraid of anything anymore. Not of being alone, not of my children's choices, not of starting over, not of taking up space, not of wanting more, not of being enough, exactly as I am. I turn off the light and close my eyes. And for the first time in 35 years, I sleep the sleep of someone who has nothing left to prove. Because I finally understand what Marcus was trying to tell me in that letter. I don't have to earn love. I don't have to sacrifice myself to be worthy. I don't have to burn to keep others warm. I am enough. I always was. If this story touched you, if you've ever sacrificed yourself for people who forgot to say thank you, if you've ever had to choose between family and freedom, if you've ever wondered if it's too late to become who you were meant to be, I want you to know something. It's not too late. It's never too late. You are not selfish for wanting peace. You are not wrong for setting boundaries. You are not cruel for choosing yourself.
And you don't owe anyone your light just because they refuse to find their own. At 58, I'm teaching law, writing books, spending Sundays with the children who chose growth, and building a relationship with the one who's trying. And I'm happier than I've ever been. Not because everything worked out perfectly, but because I finally worked out that I was worth fighting for. That's not just my story. That's justice.